Hey, everybody. Welcome to Love and Relo, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your co-host, Ben Cross, here with my good friend,
Tanya Mariottini, and I am so excited to co-host Love and Relo today with Ben.
Yeah, we got a really cool little thing we're doing here, Tanya. You're co-hosting today. We're going to talk about, fighting hunger in our communities. How do we get involved? I'm really excited about that. We've got Adam Lowy backstage here from Move for Hunger. He's going to talk a little bit about what we're doing. We've got some fantastic guests today. Rachel Hurst from Kroger, Gary Newte from Northwest Harvest, Roxanne Moore from Sodexo Fight Hunger Foundation. Super excited about it. We're also giving away these kind of really cool teas right here. What do you think about these, Tanya?
I love it. I love the gold. I was a little disappointed. Mine hasn't arrived in the mail yet, but I've ordered it. So it's on its way next time.
You feel how I'm shining right now? I'm so blinged out right now. I'm really proud of myself right now with this shirt on. No, but so
for a good cause.
Tanya, tell people how they can get the t-shirt.
Yeah, so we are so excited. So again, limited edition shirt, Love and Relo, but all of the proceeds go to support Move for Hunger this month. So it's $35 or more donation. We've got there's a web link where you can make the donation. We'll post it. I'm sure we'll post it during the show. So get your shirt, get your Love and Relo. And again, we're going to educate you more about Move for Hunger and what you can do to fight hunger, especially right now during the pandemic, where it is so important. And we so appreciate everybody who's tuned in today on this super critical topic.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, let's bring Adam out. Let's see where he's at, just so we can dig him up. Adam, what's up, man? How you doing?
How are you? So great to be here.
This is awesome. It's so good of you to join us here on a Labor Day Friday.
It's Labor Day Friday. We're there. We made it.
Adam, can you tell everybody right now who's tuning in? We got a bunch of people on LinkedIn and Facebook coming in. And by the way, if you're here, hit that like button, hit that heart button, let everybody know we're live right now. But go ahead and tell everybody what's going on this month.
So September is Hunger Action Month. Now, hunger and food security are obviously issues on a year-round basis, but many of the organizations that are fighting hunger all across the country take September to really shine a spotlight on the need during this time. Ben, I'm very grateful to you and Tanya, first and foremost, for dedicating all 4 Fridays of September to Hunger Action Month for Love and Relo, which is huge. And today, really what we're going to be doing is bringing in some incredible people that have been fighting hunger and supporting alongside Move for Hunger for many years, and really give and paint a better picture of what's going on out there. Because I can tell you right now, there are many, many people utilizing food banks for the very first time in their lives, people that never thought they'd have to use a food bank. Unfortunately, we continue to see the impacts, not just of COVID-19, but the impacts of poverty and food insecurity. And as the economy is adjusting in a variety of ways, I think it's going to take some time for us to really figure out how we're going to feed more people. So I'm grateful for you and your support and dedicating your Love and Relo shows to Move for Hunger and Hunger Action Month. And I'm excited for what the next 4 Fridays are going to bring.
Tanya, do you want to tell everybody and go through kind of what our schedule is before we bring out our illustrious guests?
Yeah, I'd love to make the plug. So super excited about the opportunity again to co-host. So obviously today, we just really want to educate and share more about what you can do. Next week, let me think about this. We're doing a telethon. And so I am so excited about this. So we've got about 6 to 8 different industry folks who are going to make themselves available for you to call in, make a donation, make a pledge. We'll also have, Ben and I are working out some of the details, but some exciting content in between. But we really hope you'll tune in and learn a little bit more and also donate. The following week, we're going to have trivia. And I know you've done trivia, but I think this is going to be probably the best trivia that you've seen in the mobility industry so far. I mean, we're still putting it together, but I'm pretty excited about it. So,
and we're looking for sponsors for the trivia too. So hit us up.
Yeah, shout out. Yes, thank you, Ben. You're better at that than me. But yeah, shout out for sponsors. We're really looking for people to support this. Again, a great opportunity to give back. Should be a lot of fun for the entire community. And then our last week in the month of September, last Friday, we're going to have a group from our Corporate Action Network. So these are folks who already volunteer to be champions for Move for Hunger. And we're going to have a panel. We're going to have corporates come in and talk on some relevant topics. We'd love to have a lot of participant engagement, because we really want to hear what's on your mind. So just again, a great opportunity for us to fundraise and give back. And yes, sponsors, we need sponsors to make this possible. But also, Ben and I originally, when we talked about this, I'm going to say something, but we set a goal for 5,000, and I'm pretty sure we decided yesterday we're going to raise it to 10.
Yes.
So, I mean, I don't know that the website's been updated yet, but Ben and I made a conscious decision that we think for a full month, and based on how generous we know that this industry is, that we can make $10,000. And again, we've got the t-shirts, you've got sponsorship opportunities. There's going to be a lot of different ways that you can give back and really make a difference this month.
Yeah, and let's give some quick shout outs. People are hopping in right now. Before we bring our guests out, our experts, I want to give some quick shout outs here. Jamie Massler checking in from Mississippi. What's up, Jamie? Marielle and Tina from Chicago. Good to see y'all. Francine Dresty. Excited about the shirts. Thank you so much, Francine, for donating and getting your Move for Hunger. Your Love and Relo. Wait, where is it? Move for Hunger co-branded shirts there. Kelly Guerin, shout out to you. This is great. David Croft checking in. Victoria McCullough checking in. Two of my favorite people. Love you, Victoria.
Wow.
Make sure to get those shirts. Go to that link. The link is scrolling on the bottom. It's tinyurl.com/love-and-relo t-shirt spelled out. We did a little tiny URL because the other one was just crazy. Brian Rivers from San Diego checking in. Christy Saluga. What's up in Pittsburgh? Fernando Donadon down in Brazil. It's
Nice.
Yeah. Great. Michael James out in Cali. What's up, Michael James? Hey, you were a big supporter last time. We're counting on you, Michael. Appreciate you very much. Sandra Clary. I know Sandra Clary is going to get in on the sponsorship also for EDC.
Nice,
They've already
Sandra.
committed to sponsoring one of our
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yep. Alicia Motter, wonderful cause. Happy to see y'all. Go ahead, hit that like button if you haven't already. Go ahead and share this. Let people know we're live. We're going to be giving you actionable steps from experts in the field right now about how you can get involved with hunger relief in your area. Janaina Chesnowski from Rio. What's up, Janaina? Let's see here. Jane Woolston from Dallas. Oh, now in Florida. What happened? All right, let me know later. Shout out from Sabre Corporation. All right. Hey, Adam, I'm going to boot you out now. We're going to get to the really smart people. Okay.
Absolutely.
I love you, man. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Enjoy the show, everybody.
All right. Let's bring on our favorites here. Rachel Hurst from Kroger. How are you, Rachel?
Hey, y'all. I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me.
So good to see you. Let's bring out Roxanne Moore from Sodexo. How are you, Roxanne?
I'm great. Ready to fight some hunger.
Yes, let's do it. Oh, I love that mask. Show that mask real quick. I want to see it. Let me see your mask.
Nice.
Stop hunger. Awesome.
I love it.
Look at that. And Gary Newte from Northwest Harvest. How's it going, Gary?
I'm doing well. Thank you. I'm very excited to be part of this.
I'm excited too. Tanya, I'm going to let you lead the Q&A here, and I'm going to be in the chat, okay? So I'm going to be chatting it up with people, and I'll let y'all know what the comments and stuff that come up.
That's great. No, and really to start with, I thought we'd just go around and hear a little bit from each of you. Like, what are you doing today? What's your role? How are you involved? And why is this topic important? So I'm just going to go around the horn. So Rachel, tell us, what is Kroger doing and what's your role?
Yeah, so my role is corporate affairs for Michigan. So I cover all of Michigan. And my role has a lot of different pieces with government relations and advocacy for hunger. And our mission really is truly what we call zero hunger, zero waste. And, we've been at it for decades now with trying to fight hunger in our communities. And we're not stopping. I hope one day, that we put food banks out of a job and that everody is,
no, and I was going to say, no offense, Gary, by the way, right?
No offense, Gary.
Yeah.
We love you.
But,
yeah. But really just each and every day advocating for one to do what's right in the state. And then, getting people to be aware of the reality of hunger right in their backyard.
Yeah.
And I just really quick want to shout out Rachel. Rachel, you've been such a big supporter of the Detroit Truck Bowl. We've done it 2 years now. You supported both years in bigger and bigger ways. I can't thank Kroger enough. You guys are phenomenal partners. So thank you for everything you do.
My back is still sore from pulling the truck. So,
maybe from carrying that team, maybe.
No, that's right. Sad that we took off a year with COVID, but I need to relax my back a little, right? So.
It all works out. Well, maybe let's go next to Gary at Northwest Harvest. Tell us about, the food bank, the work you do, what you're seeing, given that we're in this COVID situation.
Yeah, thank you. And Rachel, I am in agreement with you. The end goal of our game is to put folks like myself out of work. That shows our measure of success. So I'm Gary Newte. I'm the Director of Sourcing and Procurement for Northwest Harvest. That's just a lot of words on my business card to say I buy food. Um, I buy food and I solicit food donations for our organization, Northwest Harvest. Our mission and vision is to end hunger in the state of Washington. Our immediate goal is to cut hunger in half by the year 2028. And so my role now is much different since COVID-19. I am leading the state in purchasing food for all of the food banks in the state of Washington.
Yeah, and I want to give Roxanne a chance to introduce herself, but one of the other things I'm really interested in, especially with Kroger and with the food banks, but we were talking beforehand about the fact that so many people have just like bought up all the groceries at the grocery stores. You know, there is like less food to go around. I've seen the food banks, you know, as far as donations, like not getting as many donations, or the food that used to come from the stores or other places like isn't available the way that it used to be. So I want to chat about that, but I really want to go to Roxanne too and just give her a chance. So Roxanne, Sodexo, Stop Hunger Foundation. Tell us what you're doing. Tell us a little bit about your role.
Absolutely. I'm the executive director of the Sodexo Stop Hunger Foundation, and I could say ditto, zero hunger, zero waste. We're actually a foundation that's part of the philanthropic mission of Sodexo, and we've been around for 23 years here in the United States, but we're actually operational in 50 of the countries in which Sodexo is actually doing business. So I saw we had someone from Brazil, and we have an active team in the Brazil area helping to stop hunger as well with Sodexo. So again, my role is as the executive director, and we spend quite a bit of time connecting the dots with a lot of our food banks and with other partners similar to Kroger, and making sure that, and Move for Hunger and other nonprofits, to ensure that we're either supporting folks financially on the ground to do the great work that they're doing now in fighting hunger, and we're helping to connect the dots so we're moving food from point A to point B. And just really excited to be here with all of you today.
Yeah, no, we really appreciate it. I know one of the things too is talking to the audience about like how they can get involved in this world that we live in today, where I know food drives, I've hosted food drives. It's just a lot harder as well. So, but I want to go back to, I'd really love to hear a little bit from any of you, but Gary and Rachel, like, given what we've seen, like even the grocery store still, when I go out to my local Fred Meyer's, there's still stuff that they're sold out of, right? And I know for a while, like I couldn't get bread for weeks. And so I'm just wondering, like, how has that impacted your ability, or what is different now? And also maybe some thoughts on how do we support that, like given that this environment, the situation that we're in?
Sure. I'll start. So, our supply chain is pretty strong, and it has been strong. And we did go through a time where we were working very, very closely with our suppliers and our manufacturers and different distribution center. For all over the place to try and make sure that we were keeping up our supply and demand. And I will tell you that our supply is strong. And that I think the difference that we've seen is that with our Zero Hunger, Zero Waste social impact plan to donate 3 billion meals by 2025, we have really been at it for quite some time with donating our wasted food, so that we know that the food that is still consumable each and every day, which maybe might be blemished or might be, a safe apple that has a bruise on it or something, that we're still getting that to the food banks. So we partner with 6 food banks here in Michigan to pick up all of that food still. So we haven't really seen a large impact as far as less food being donated, because we still have all that product that we're moving through. But continuing to work with the food banks to make sure that they're still, have a tight schedule, that they're still coming to our stores, and we're able to still donate, just in Michigan alone, more than 5 million pounds of food a year.
That's amazing. Yeah. And that's great to hear, because that was one of the things I was worried about, just thinking like there's less food that's now going to the food bank. So it's great to hear that's actually not the case, but they're still just making sure that the pickup, the delivery, like all of that is still happening. So that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, I'll just add in that it's a time to be creative as well, and really try to get more financial donations. So although we can't have these food drives, this is the way, that link below, this is the way we can get more food.
Yeah, so absolutely. And I know Gary, again, in his role as director of procurement and sourcing, like he needs the money to buy these things. And I know he partners with Move for Hunger already with an existing relationship. So yeah, thanks for the shout out again. Remember that we are raising funds today One way you can do it is to donate. If you donate more than $35, if Ben will stand up, I don't have my shirt to sport, but right, if you donate, you'll get your flashy Love and Relo shirt, but all of the proceeds go to a great cause. And that's what we're talking about today. So I appreciate that. So again, I'm going to pop back down to Gary a little bit. So with everything that's gone on, like, tell us a little bit, what's the environment like at the food bank, and what can we do to help support?
Yeah, thank you. It's been very challenging, to say the least. And what we do as an organization, we work with a network of over 375 different food banks throughout the state of Washington. So I like to consider us, we're the food bank to the food banks.
Wow.
And so it's being very, very particular with trying to meet the individual needs of each program. Also, what we have been doing specifically since April have been changing our distribution model from a normal distribution of bulk, cases of products that go to the food bank for them to then hand out. I've actually been leading a statewide team that are building menu boxes. So
Wow.
in addition to going out and sourcing and procuring the food, I've been working with the National Guard to then repack that product into menu boxes for the specific reason of eliminating touches. Right now with the potential spread and
of course,
and no real understanding of how easy it is to catch COVID, we really wanted to be mindful of being able to put together a meaningful, impactful, culturally appropriate, and many times boxes of food that can just be handed out to a family, set in their trunk or handed to them through the car window in order to eliminate a lot of the touches. Kind of circling back to what Rachel was talking about as far as supply chain, the difference in my job, and I would say in the last year, is traditionally we are a 70%-ish donation food and 30% purchase. Right now, that's kind of flipped. We're really going out being aggressive in our purchasing and being mindful and being able to meet the needs of everyone in the state and kind of meeting them where they are.
Gary, can you tell us a little bit more about the demand? Because I know one of the things, and Adam kicked that off, like there's a lot of people who are going to the food bank for the very first time. Like maybe they've never had this experience before. They've never been in this position. So I wondered if you could talk to us about that as well.
Yeah, I think a great way of putting it is a former coworker of mine. In addition to us working with the 375 programs, we also own and operate one food bank in downtown Seattle. And a former coworker of mine, this phrase has always stuck with me. He says, if you watch the folks who come through our line, if you stand there long enough, at some point you're going to see yourself. And really what that is, it's about there is a lot of misconception and perception about who it is that visits the food bank. And in times like this, I mean, you have families, parents, 1 or 2 or 3 jobs are now home, making those dollars stretch, and the number of folks that have been needing our services across the state. I mean, it is exponential compared to just last year. I mean, we're looking at approximately 25% of the residents in the state of Washington are in need of food bank services.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ben. Tanya, we got a couple of questions coming in for, it looks like for Gary and maybe for some of the others too. This is great. People are really getting involved. I love it. Let's see here. Victoria McCullough says, I've read where farmers and ranchers are having to throw away produce and slaughter their cows and pigs because processing plants have closed. Do you buy directly from them to cut down on waste? Gary,
I can answer that. We have. I've been intentional in our purchasing and in our sourcing. I've actually had several small farmers reach out directly to me. One of the hugest impact on supply chain was the closing of the restaurants. So you have many farms that their entire business is based upon providing food to 5 or 10 restaurants, say in downtown Seattle. I had, in one particular case, it was a pig farmer that sold us the last of her pigs at cost, and we got them slaughtered as far as donating in order to have them processed to be able to distribute. But she was like, here, I need to give these to you because if I keep them for one more month, the amount that it takes to feed them, I'm going, as small farmers and small business owners, that they're losing money. So whenever we are able to, we have reached out to this. We are working with the Anaba Farms out in Wapato, Washington, specifically to purchase produce from them and have it prepackaged, a variety of box of prepackaged produce put together in order to kind of keep them afloat through this time.
Hey, can I comment on that too?
Please.
Sure. Yeah. So at Sodexo, we do food service and facilities management, but the company itself, they do food service in hospitals and with school systems and universities and corporate business as well. Just a little background there. But one of the other things I wanted to mention to the person asking that question is that the USDA also implemented a Farmers to Families grant. And that Farmers to Families grant actually helped to provide money for organizations to actually purchase some of the product that the farmers had and redistribute it to nonprofits. And so this is an example of one of the ways in which our Stop Hunger Foundation got involved, because one of our healthcare accounts actually had a connection to a company called Common Market in the Philadelphia area, who was going to be getting all of this produce because they got a grant from the USDA. When they reached out to the Sodexo Stop Hunger Foundation, we then connected them to other school systems, both in the New Jersey area, as well as in Washington, D.C. public schools. And so again, it's just another example of how if we can start connecting the dots and figure out how to best utilize some of these resources, we can minimize that food waste as much as possible. So again, I applaud the USDA for this work. I used to work with child nutrition programs across the United States and implementing them here in the state of Maryland where I reside. But I really applaud the USDA for putting into action this way to minimize food waste. And my understanding is they're looking at re-exploring how to expand upon that grant going forward.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura, and thank you, Victoria, for the questions.
Yeah, and I was going to say, so next question that I actually wanted to pop down to Roxanne. So as we've got a global audience and you've got some, obviously global breadth in what you do, I know we're talking about how to get involved and to donate in the US, but what does that look like in other parts of the world? And, is it the same, or how can some of the folks that we have down in Brazil, what can they do?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because, we seem so far apart and yet we're all struggling in the same way. I just had a call this past week with my colleagues in other regions of the world, and they too are trying to do different types of food drives. I think we've seen, some countries start to come back probably a little bit better to normalcy than we have, just because of the ways that they've decided to maybe manage their businesses and how they're opening things and executing isolation. Mm-hmm. But in the end, we're all seeing an elevated, impact of hunger. And you read stories about how different countries have tried to remove homeless folks from the streets in order to help minimize the spread and ensure that people have food. But everywhere we go, this is a worldwide problem. And we're all experiencing it in similar numbers. I think what has been shocking to some of my colleagues in the other countries is how big and massive the problem is here in the United States. How many food banks we have, to Gary's point, how many affiliated, networked agencies that he's working with. I just came into this role last June, and trying to help present the scope of just the network who is working to fight hunger in the United States has just been alarming to some of the folks who are learning this for the first time, even worldwide.
Yeah. Well, and I would say to what Gary had said earlier, just a comment, and that is, I feel so fortunate, which is why I'm happy to host today and continue to champion Move for Hunger and make donations. But someday it could be me in that food bank line. And so I feel like I have the opportunity, I have the responsibility, while my husband and I are both employed, and we don't have that worry right now to give back to the community. And so I would, again, just, to everybody who's participating today, who you just don't know when that might be you, if you have the ability to make a donation, to contribute, to get involved, even with your local food bank, but to donate to Move for Hunger, whatever that is, I just, again, want to make that call out. That's why I feel so strongly about this, is because it's not me today, but I never know when it could be, or it could be a close family member.
No, I'll jump in on there too. Oh, sorry, Roxanne. I was just going to say, coming from a personal experience, it's tragedy randomly in life, right? Like we are going through a very tragic situation right now with COVID-19 and these uncharted waters in this crazy time. And but you think about it from multiple different levels. It's not just always a loss of job, or just this pandemic and not being able to work because of immune compromised system. But coming from me, my experience personally, I'm a cancer survivor, and I remember when I was 17, being in my bedroom, but listening to my parents that were trying to pay medical bills and find food at the same time. And that was tragedy. I have 3 younger sisters. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and we were very financially stable prior to, and then all of a sudden life hits you like a brick wall out of nowhere. And so, to people that are, tuning in today, just as Tanya said, it could be me with my 4-year-old tomorrow. And I'm, been giving back to these food banks for years now, but I could be in the line tomorrow. So it is amazing that this industry and this network of people with Love and Relo that, even just with Move for Hunger, how brilliant when you are moving and relocating the food that you had in your pantry that you're like, well, I'll just buy new. But you might need that food a week from now because something might happen. I mean, and the fact that there's the ability to take that food back and donate it to those in need is brilliant. And can't say like high enough praises to everybody here today and Move for Hunger team.
Yeah, it's
Thank
awesome.
you for sharing your story, Rachel. That was really impactful for me. Thank you.
Me too. So I don't know if we've had any other questions come in. If not, I also wanted to talk to this group, and anyone can chime in. I think Roxanne may have some experience, but if you wanted to host a food drive, like there are creative ways right now, like we're raising funds and there's lots of ways to donate. But if you wanted to host a food drive, how would some of the folks that are tuning in today go about that?
Sure, I can definitely speak to that. And that's where I was going to piggyback a little bit on your worldwide question, was because the other challenge, and I think Gary can even understand this as well, is that the hands-on volunteering just disappeared. A lot of people were afraid to get involved, or the food banks, you've all had to protect your staff and your essential workers to ensure that you could continue your operations and keep everyone safe. So I have, a high school student who wants to get out there and volunteer, and we were told many times that, well, we're not taking volunteers. Her volunteer work at the hospital, everything disappeared, getting ready for college. She wants to have a volunteer experience. But the bottom line is that, thankful to Adam and his team at Move for Hunger, we traditionally at our company every April have something called Serve-a-thon. And that's our biggest month around the world where all of our employees engage in doing hands-on volunteering to help fight hunger. It was gone. And so Adam and his team usually support people who are doing food drives as well. So how do we shift our thinking and still have safe food drives? Because the need is tremendous. So Adam pitched an idea to me, and I said, I want to pilot it. I'll pilot it in my own community. I'll get a group of kids together and we'll get out there and see what we can do. And so he pitched the idea of the Front Porch Food Drive to me. And I turned around and, they wanted me to stay within a certain geography of my community. And I quickly realized that I had 3 churches right within my community, and they all were offering pantries. And one of them started telling me the story. And again, this is, very traditional middle-income community where they had gone from 15 families to almost 300 families that needed to be served every week. So consequently, we brought together about 20 kids in a matter of a week, and Move for Hunger helped us out by helping us get some flyers together and some bags together. And the kids went to work stapling their flyers to the bags. And we utilized our traditional neighborhood social media opportunities, whether it's Facebook pages or Next Door Neighbor and all these other kinds of links that are out there. And just the network of the own volunteer networks within the churches themselves. And in 6 days, I hope that we would maybe collect 75 bags of food, because, you put something on somebody's front porch and you hope they'll fill it up. But we had 460 bags in 6 days.
Oh my goodness. That's amazing. That's amazing, Roxanne.
It was amazing. And I think it was inspiring to the moving company that worked with us. It was inspiring to the kids who questioned whether or not we would get any response. And it was inspiring to all of the churches that came together. And in fact, they've asked us to do another one. And so we're going to do another one gearing up for Thanksgiving to provide these non-perishable foods. And literally what we did was, again, we marketed it to our community so they knew these bags were coming. They knew the kids were signing their names to their bags saying, your neighbor, Jocelyn, I'm coming by to gather some food for our community. Telling them where the food was going, I think, was also important, yes, since it represented, a cross line of different denominations and groups that were being reached. And then also just reminding them when we were coming back to pick up the food, rather than the moving company going to every front porch, we pulled together the food on a certain day at certain designations, made it easy for the moving companies to come through and pick up, the food at certain locations and then redistribute. And we had volunteers there, with their Stop Hunger masks and loading the food and unloading the food. And we were done in 3 hours.
Yeah, Roxanne, that story is phenomenal. And a couple, I have so many questions as you're saying this, right? One, what moving company helped you? Because I think we need to give them a shout out.
Oh, absolutely. Von Perrin, yes.
Von Paris Moving is fantastic. Out of the Baltimore area. Been around for a lot of years. They're a North American Van Lines agent, actually, which I'm actually affiliated with too. So shout out to Serena and the people of Von Paris, great people. And the second question I have actually comes from our audience here. Mary Ellen Tratina says, in addition to monetary assistance, is manpower needed at the food banks? I'm always looking for volunteer opportunities for my family. Before I go to Gary to get that answer from a food bank perspective, I want to stay with you here, Roxanne, because I think what you just described, this front porch food drive, is so dynamic. Is there like a blueprint or a document or a resource that Mary Ellen, maybe her friends, her church community, whomever, can go to say, hey, if I want to architect this, and maybe I want to think bigger than just my neighborhood, kind of like you were talking about, and maybe I say, like my wife's a member of a mom's group, mom's group is South Line with like a dozen moms or 2 dozen moms, right? And they're all in each individual subdivisions, right? And how do we like scale it, So is there a place, or where would you advise people to start with this process?
I would call Adam. No.
Put it on Adam's plate.
Okay, we'll plug Adam's number soon. We'll just put that right there on the bottom. Adam and Move for Hunger.
But no, in all sincerity, I would contact Adam and his team because they actually have put together some guidance on how to do this. And I would be honored to speak to any group that wants to try to replicate this in their community and give guidance. And, I have a very basic presentation on what it took for me to pull people together, because honestly, in full transparency, I was dealing with caring for some aging parents at the same time. All this was happening and felt very anxious that I wasn't micromanaging, but I didn't have to. It just happened. Once you got the flyers out there, people know there's a need. But I really do feel like in any of these situations today, it is critically important that we, number one, educate people about the problem. And that was part of our message. And it was a brief message, but we educated them that our neighbors were hungry. And we told them where the food was going to go and how it was going to be used. I think that's very important.
Awesome. Gary, I wanted to ask you along Mary Ellen's questions here. She talks about manpower, right? What are you seeing a need for at the food bank level as far as boots on the ground help?
Thank you. So to address Mary Ellen's question and to touch base on what Roxanne said, as far as opportunities are either available or not available, really specifically depending on the individual programs. There are, what I've seen in the last several months, there are food banks that we've worked with for many, many years that now no longer exist because of their staff support or their volunteer team. We're just unable. Many food banks have the traditional model from the 50s and 60s where there are a lot of retirees. Well, those are right now our most vulnerable citizens and those who are being encouraged to stay away from large groups and large areas. So it's negatively impacted many of the programs. I can speak specifically for Northwest Harvest. As an organization, annually, we normally clock over 100,000 volunteer hours a year. And we cancel volunteer program in April, at least through the end of this calendar year. And that's significant in many ways. Those 100,000 hours, that's equivalent to about another 5 employees. And so not having that labor force, which is the reality of what it is, my role in purchasing. I buy many items in bulk and have it repacked in our repack warehouses in Kent and Yakima and Spokane. Without the National Guard, we would have had to go away from that completely these last several months. At the same time, we've still had to scale down. I would have 120 plus volunteers in one of our locations a day doing 4-hour shifts. Right now, that we have 15 volunteers doing a 3-hour shift, and they're all National Guard. So just to be able to answer the question, I would say first check with the individual programs. Each individual program has their own needs, and that's kind of the mission of Northwest Harvest, is to, as much as we are a provider of free food to the programs, we also want to support each individual program with their specific needs. They may need a person to just drive to do home deliveries, if that's what that program does. They may need folks to come in and just repack food overnight so it can be handed out the next day. So I would just say, check in with your individual programs and just really listen closely to what their individual needs are.
And actually, Adam just chimed in there to answer the specific question around where can we sign up and get resources. He actually put the moveforhunger.org/campaign/front-porch-food-drive. I don't know why I read it. I mean, I don't know if that's how the internet works, but that's what I did. It's down there right there. So check it out. Go hit that. We're going to leave that up for just for a minute longer. We've got people who are talking about in the comments here, wanting to get involved and kind of pledging, to help out people that run, that run moving companies and moving crews. Shout out to Gino. Gino says, I'm out of New York City. And the NEMM family would love to help you guys. They run moving crews all up and down the Eastern Seaboard. Shout out to you, Gino. Shout out to anybody else that wants to pledge to help today. Jamie Massler is saying such an inspiring story, Roxanne. I think I just want to take a moment and just hijack just for a second and say that each one of you, and I just want to applaud you all, each one of you is using your influence right now to give people a blueprint and inspire them on how they can get involved. And I think, one of the things I just want to talk to the people for a second out there that are watching this, one of the things that I just want to stress to all of you is that each one of you has influence. You may not be an influencer, you may not have a fancy title at your job, but each one of you is a head of household or a cog in the bigger wheel, and we can all have a voice and we can all make a decision to help and to do more and to give back. And we've all been given quite a bit and blessed, and been very fortunate. So I just want to I hope that we can inspire you today just to take a moment to say, you know what, I'm going to give today, and I'm going to do something to help other people and volunteer. And shout out to the people that are in the comments right now. I love you guys so much. Thanks to the community. That's my old word.
Yeah. It's a great comment. And I'll tell you, one of the reasons why I was so intrigued to come into this role was because of our mission to go beyond food aid. And I think what you said is so accurate. Traditionally, a lot of our employees have been so used to participating in traditional food aid support, like at the food banks. But what we've been trying to encourage people to think about is, what's your skill? What's your passion? I'm a dietitian by heart. So that's my true calling, is I'm a nutrition expert. And so if you know how to cook, teach someone to cook. A lot of people don't know how to plan a healthy diet on a budget. They just don't know how. If you don't know how to grow a pepper plant, learn to grow a pepper plant. I mean, my biggest concern is, as we look at COVID, and like you said, it could be any one of us at any time, what have we learned? We can't constantly depend on other people to hand us food. We have to figure out how to be resourceful ourselves. So if you love finance, teach someone a budget. If you are connected with a women's group, go teach other women how to cook a meal that's healthy, we don't have to eat unhealthy because we're hungry. So we need to utilize all those resources and passion, and that's volunteerism as well.
I love it. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to share a little bit too. I completely agree with that. And for those who are participating today, who are like myself in more of a corporate role, Expedia Group, actually the month of September, we've deemed the whole month our month of caring. Typically it's one day and people go out and volunteer. but this is a different year and we want people to give back and make an impact in their community. So I'm sharing because I was able to post different information about Move for Hunger on my company's internal site to say there are different ways, including the Front Porch Food Tribe, you can get involved. So I could share that across our entire company for folks who do want to volunteer. Like, there are ways out there. I also am proud to say that my little team of Global Talent Mobility, we're actually moving for hunger. So we're moving to raise money this month, and we've all made a pledge. So I just, a few others, like if you're a corporate or you're thinking like, what are the other ways that I can get involved? Similar to what you were saying, Roxanne, there's lots of ways, and use the skills you have or the groups of influence you have, like Ben was saying, that you're part of, to make a difference.
I'll just, chime in from a corporate standpoint. And although I can only speak on behalf of Kroger, but really, as an organization, like I mentioned earlier, we have a large sphere of influence, and we're like the big microphone, right? So a lot of what we do is awareness, and, how do we go partner with one of our other big partners or our other big corporate organizations, and how do we come together on a very large scale, whether that's matching a donation or making a dollar go a little bit farther, or teaching another company the ways in which we're doing the great work, sharing what's working for us with whether it's restaurants or other grocery industry peers. Hunger is not competitive, and this isn't the time where we need to be competitive with another, grocer per se. We are all in this fight together, and we need all of us now more than ever to make a difference. So, I think taking, for the folks listening that might be working at a corporation that might not be even in the food industry, use your voice, use your microphone, and share the message, because there's somebody that probably works for you that could be struggling. There's a neighbor next to them that is struggling. And the other thing too that I'd say out there is, now more than ever, we all need to come together, no matter what the topic may be, but we need to be one, and we need to love each other and put stereotypes aside, and we need to care. And the people that are going through food insecurity and hunger, they need to feel some dignity when they go in and ask for help. They need to feel that they're in a safe space, and they're in a team, in a community that's there for them. We are here with you, and we are here to help people get through it. So if you're listening today and you're the one that needs help, do not be scared to even ask for help, because we are all in this together. We're all committed together, in one. And we need to keep spreading that message of love in the world. So love and relo. I can't get over how perfect that is.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I appreciate you so much. You've been such a great partner here in Michigan, and my dream is that we can have partnerships with people like you at Kroger and other grocers in every state, in every area, and I just wanted, since we're kind of talking about how we can get involved, in the Front Porch Food Drive is like so brilliant and so timely right now. But I also wanted to ask you, Rachel, a couple other neat, innovative, different kind of food drives and things that you've hosted, because you've really done some really cool ones in the community. Could you just tell us about a couple of different things you've seen done?
Yeah, we've done some really, really, really big events. We've done food packing events. We last year we partnered with the Detroit Lions and actually packed 50,000 boxes of food in 5 hours, and distributed them for Thanksgiving. We've had some really amazing success with when we could host food drives at our stores, but we got law enforcement and firefighters and EMS and doctors and nurses and, everybody from a first responder category. Because when you think about it, they're also on the front lines at hospitals serving people that are sick, and, EMS and firefighters and law enforcement. And so we've had all of them involved at our stores to come together and bring everybody together again across our state here in Michigan. So we've had some great success with that. We just hosted a virtual emergency first responder food drive it's going through next week. But we used our sphere of influence with some of our radio partners and partnered with 5 radio stations. And we just built a webpage, feedmitch.com, and you can go right at it. 100% of the proceeds go right to the food bank of your choice. And we're helping front the advertisement for it so people can feel comfortable. But we've done a lot of really creative things. And I will tell you, and Adam knows this, I know Adam's in the background, backstage somewhere, but we're doing a front porch food drive. Okay. I just need to figure out how to scale it to 119 stores. And let me tell you, we're doing it.
That's amazing.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. And Roxanne, I'm coming to you for some help because
I've got an idea.
I feel a little anxiety. My blood pressure's a little high right now, but we're gonna nail it.
You can do it. You
I
can
love
do it.
this. This is fantastic. And we've gotten
That is my commitment in front of all of you today.
We'll have to circle back and find out how you do it. We'd love to hear back on it. And I was going to say, I'd even almost challenge some of the people that are listening today, like put in the comment, like, hey, this has inspired me. I'm going to do a front porch food drive. And, if you like, I think it's always great when you set a goal, like how many pounds or how many houses or what's that going to be? Because I am really inspired by what you just shared, Rachel. And we want to hear how it goes.
Yeah. And we're getting people right now.
I'd love to throw a challenge out there. And,
all right.
Ben and Tanya and Adam, if you're listening, like whatever is raised today, I want to match it. I think that we need to match it. We need to raise the money.
Wow.
And I just think that's great. So
we need like
I'm
a
gonna
bell
buy
ring
some
or
shirts.
something.
Like let's do it. Let's say we'll match up to like, I don't know, 10,000 or something. So keep donating.
All right, well, keep donating then, because
guys.
Rachel just threw down the gauntlet. She said that she would match up to $10,000 right now.
Maybe we'll do it through this month. So let's keep going. So your Friday shows, let's do it.
Oh my gosh, through the month, which is great because we got 4 shows. Next week's a telethon. We've got $1,400 so far right now as of today for these T-shirts. So that's fantastic. The link's at the bottom. It's scrolling. It's giving people tips right now, but whatever. Rachel's having a little bit of wine before the holiday right now. So she's got the checkbook out. So let's
no wine yet. I love you guys.
Amazing. Yeah, this is so exciting. We need everybody to help us reach that goal of 10,000 so Rachel can match the full amount.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
We need Adam's team to share a few pictures. I would try to put one up there for y'all to see.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. There they are.
Oh, I love it.
They're all up there, moving them in.
That's fantastic.
My daughter now, she's on the front line in a grocery store working, so she would be here to share the insights from the kids' perspective. But
love it.
It's amazing.
Oh my God,
you're amazing, Roxanne.
Rachel, first,
I didn't do it. They did.
Roxanne, great photo. I love that. You're gonna have to send that to me because I want to post that on social, and I want to tag you. Rachel, you just decided to match this, which is fantastic, and you've been such a great partner over the last 2 years with the truck pull. We're not doing the truck pull this year, but you've decided to help in this way. I think it's so important for people who are motivated like this, and they're in the comments right now and they're going crazy. People that are motivated like this to connect with people like Roxanne, people like Rachel, people like Gary in the community. Rachel, Kroger's doing a lot of good under a lot of brands and a lot of markets right now. How do they find the Rachel in their state that they can work with and partner? Because I know that Zero Hunger, Zero Waste is central, is your central philanthropic, focus right now. How do they connect with people like you in their state?
Yeah, you can always go to Kroger.com and look up your specific, corporate affairs person to connect with. I'm always happy, Ben, if there's people reaching out from different states. I had no problem helping connect. My peers across the country are amazing individuals that are just as giving. We have to find the way to give and make sure that it's fit for hunger. I mean, that's what we're here for. Our mission across our company is Zero Hunger, Zero Waste. And again, like I mentioned, our goal is 3 billion meals by 2025. And we're committed to zero waste in our stores, in our manufacturing plants, and in our warehouses. And so happy to connect you in the state in which you live in. Obviously, provided that we have stores there, but we're in like 35 states. So let's do this. I will connect you. I know that we've helped our peers. I believe Adam and Move for Hunger have worked with our brand and Harris Teeter on the East Coast. And so, again, we are committed, and there's a food bank in your city, in your town, whether there's a Kroger or a Fry's or a Fred Meyer or a Smith's or, whoever it may be, but we are all committed to ending hunger in the communities in which we live and serve.
I love it, Rachel. I love your heart. This is so fantastic. And Roxanne, if people are watching in other states and maybe even other countries, because I think that's really an opportunity as well, right? I had a guy just this morning in the UK, and I tagged him in the comments. His name's Brian Friedman. If you're watching this right now and you know Brian Friedman, and I know a lot of you do if you're in relocation, I want you to tag him right now in the comments, put him on the spot, because he said he wanted to get something going in the UK but didn't know how to do it. And we got Roxanne right here. So Roxanne, how do people connect with Sodexo's foundation in other countries, maybe to support?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, we have a worldwide website as well, but you can also go through me. So if you have a desire to connect with somebody abroad, then by all means, connect with me. I'll connect you to my point person for the UK, and we'll see what we can get started.
This is fantastic. I'm like doing it right now. I'm like tagging people. I'm like going crazy right now.
I thought Ben was maybe going to be speechless, Rachel, actually, when you dropped the gauntlet for the $10,000 match. So that's amazing.
I was borderline speechless, but it doesn't surprise me because she's always so generous with us and so supportive in the community. So again, you just blow me away. You really do.
You should know we like surprises.
You love it. You love it. You show up with these big checks at my events, just like, hey, I got a big check. I'm like, sweet.
More
Gary,
meals.
I know. You guys are great. Gary, I had a question for you. Okay, this is just a personal question because I'm competitive. Rachel's saying, it's no time to be competitive. I don't know. I'm competitive. I want to raise as much money and as much food as possible. And you're the procurement guy. You're the guy that buys all the foods for the people to give out the food, right? Mm-hmm. And so I got a question for you. I'm over here and I'm always trying to get my numbers up, right? I'm always trying to get my weight up. Get your weight up, not your hate up, right? I'm always trying to get my weight up on my food, right? And so my question is, how can some people want to give food, but they don't want to give dollars for whatever reason. It's just their prerogative. How can they stretch their dollars to the max when buying food to donate?
That's a great question. I would say whenever you have an opportunity, pool your money. Pool your money as a group, as a family, as an organization, as a work team. Pool your money, and the good old fashioned ask. You would be surprised the number of stores that you can go in and say, this is what I'm doing. Here's the funds that we have. Ask for the store manager. What can you help us with? You'd be surprised the number of chains and outlets that'll be willing to work with you. They'll help you find things that are on sale that you can move faster. But it really is about pooling your funds and not being afraid to ask.
Nice.
I love it.
Gary, are there specific items, that the food bank is actually really in need of, like to Ben's point, if someone prefers to donate food, in addition to what you've just shared with us, are there items that are always a higher need? Yeah,
absolutely. For us specifically, we keep a list updated on our website at northwestharvest.org. But we always try to be mindful to meet nutritional needs. I want to, circling back to what Roxanne said earlier, folks who are in need and are hungry, it doesn't mean you should just eat anything that's out there, anything that's available. Mm-hmm. Over 2/3 of the 30 million meals that we provide annually, over 2/3 of that product is fruits and vegetables. So it really is being mindful about it. We keep the list going, but really high need things are shelf stable. I would say are protein, your peanut butter, your tuna, your chicken, things that are really expensive. Those are things that most food banks tend to struggle with. So that's kind of one of my focused items is shelf stable protein. And then you have non-meat proteins, like beans and lentils, etc.
That's great. Thanks for sharing. And I know I was going to say we've got about 5 minutes left, and we've talked on so many different topics, but as we talked about, thanks to Ben for allowing us this platform, but are there things we haven't talked about? I know we wanted to use this as an education. We wanted to get people excited about how they could get involved. Are there things you've done or just things you think are really important to share that we haven't hit yet? I wanted to give you each an opportunity.
I don't know. I'm just so excited.
I know, we are too.
I mean,
you can't see it, but I know when we do the wrap, he just hasn't texted me a bunch yet because he'll text. Well, no, maybe he has later. No, we are so excited.
No,
and you guys this has just been amazing. I mean, I've been a big champion for Move for Hunger and for food insecurity and food waste for a long time, but this was really educational for me. There were so many things that I didn't know and ways to get involved. And I'm even more excited now than I was before. I hope the audience feels that way too as they participated. And again, this is Hunger Action Month. We will be doing this all of September, but it doesn't just end in September. We hope that you guys get involved, going forward, that this becomes something that's really a part of who you are and what's important to you.
I would just add, some not closing thoughts necessarily, but hunger doesn't go away. And right now we're seeing it, but thinking about the kids, even in the summer when they're out of school, a lot of times during the winter months, it's very giving, and Christmas comes and the holidays come and people give, which is outstanding. And I think everybody should. But not forgetting that it's year round. So Hunger Action Month is in September, but there is hunger every day. Mm-hmm. And so keeping up the advocacy, keeping up the awareness of it, and continuing to give back when you can, because you never know when it could be you. So although we're excited because we want you to help donate today and we're excited to raise some money, but hunger is not exciting. And we want to be excited when Gary doesn't have a job, and we love you, Gary, but
we want to put you out of work, Gary.
We are all in this together.
I'm ready to retire.
We do like you. We love your shirt. We love Ben's better more than
we do have a question actually for Gary here from Sandra Clary, who also has volunteered to start a front porch food drive in her high-rise apartment building in northern.
Perfect.
Which
all
sounds
right.
like a
Right.
Good job.
She says, Gary, how can we best help our local food banks? And is there anything specific that your operation needs?
I would circle back to my last answer, Sandra. I would say, first of all, thank you for taking on the challenge and being willing to put something together now to make a difference. I would say choose a food bank, go down there, introduce yourself. Social distance first, maybe give them a call first, but really introduce yourself and ask them what their specific need is. It might be something like, we want, I'll say, popcorn, right? Sounds insane, but there are so many different programs. Maybe they use popcorn to send out when they pack backpack programs for the kids. Mm-hmm. Just really listen to the wants and needs of the individual items. And to circle back, Ben, about the original question and to tail off, I would say get out there and vote. Hunger is not a partisan issue, but it seems to be made one. So the biggest way to impact hunger across the country and across the world is to understand the issues, educate yourself, and vote accordingly.
That's great.
Can I just add that I'm just so inspired by this group. I actually met Adam just last fall, and I've told him numerous times that I, introduced him to our board and the work that he was doing. And just another project that we're working on right now is just going to speak volumes to the work that your industry is doing and how you're helping people, and you're helping us navigate the logistics of food distribution. And, many of us say it all the time that we really don't have a food shortage in this country. We just have a logistics problem, and you all are helping to solve it. And I just really want to thank you for the great work you're doing. I didn't a year ago see this industry as a solution in the hunger space. And I am just so grateful to be spreading the great word of the work you do.
Well, thank you on behalf of the moving industry and Adam and our global mobility and relocation partners who are watching this and are part of this. We appreciate that. And thank you for the opportunity to get involved. I think that's a real blessing, because I do believe you get more out than you even give when you support things like this. Francine made a comment. We have supported hunger relief by supporting Move for Hunger, collaborating with GBTA, which is the Global Business Travelers Association, chapter to organize food drives, collaborating with neighbors through the Nextdoor app to serve families that have needs in their area. I mean, basically what I'm hearing is there's really no shortage of ways to get involved. It just takes you taking the first step. calling the local food pantry, like Gary was saying, right? I mean, not hard. Calling your Kroger store, what's up? You know, hitting Roxanne up in the DMs on LinkedIn, like, hey, how can I get involved? You know, I mean, that's, you know, it's not hard. It just takes that step, you know.
That's right.
Tanya, would you like to wrap us up, Tanya?
I'd be honored to. I can't thank all of you, Rachel, Roxanne, and Gary, for joining today and sharing and inspiring our community to get more involved and educating us. And I also just have to thank Ben for also donating his show, Love and Relo, every Friday this month to bring awareness to food insecurity and to help champion Move for Hunger and help us raise funds for such a great cause at such a time of need. So again, this has been amazing. I'm inspired. So thank you guys so much for your time. Thank you for everybody who tuned in. Donate, make sure to donate. And we need sponsors, like Ben said. So please help us raise. Now we have to reach the $10,000 now that Rachel has offered to match it. But again, this has been an amazing way. I hope this sets you into your holiday weekend and really gets you guys thinking and get you involved. So again, thank you all for joining today.
Have a great
weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Roxanne. Thank you, Gary. Thank you to all the wonderful people in the comments who have volunteered and who have pledged to get involved and do front porch food drives. We're going to be doing this every Friday for the month, as Tanya said. And then don't forget, next week is a telethon. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of Relo famous people on here. And then we're doing trivia the week after that. It's going to be a blast. Thank you so much, everybody.